Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The snow has just barely started falling upon the battlefield, but that is not going to stop the Kislev Bear Squad from stampeding across all of these fools from Cathay, as we have a land battle between Kislev and Grand Cathay. I will be commanding the Kislev forces, and Curio will be on the forces of Grand Cathay. So for Kislev, what do we have on the table today? Well, we have Tsarina Katerin going to be the lord for the army, as she's going to be bringing Ice Maiden's Kiss and Heart of Winter for her 2 spells. She also has Frost Fang, and she does have, of course, the Frost Shield, the lore passive for the lore of Ice. She's going to be supported by a pair of Patriarchs also on their bear mounts. They do have a few differences between their 2 kits. One has the Saliak's Lullaby, which gives a nice little bit of regeneration to those in an AoE. The other one is also going to be bringing that same ability, but is also going to be bringing Tor's Battle Hymn to give plus 40 to that melee attack. And he does also have Da's Brazier, giving just passive regen per second to those around him. And on the other side, the Balalaika of the Arari is going to be that melee defense plus 5 and melee attack plus 5 in an AoE. So a few of those abilities can be spread across both of those to make sure that if one does fall, there is still going to be some buffs provided to Tsarina and to the units in the immediate vicinity. For the units, we do have a couple of units of Tsar Guard going to be sitting in the front, as they do have 90 armor, silver shields. It is a unit that is very sturdy and very good against anything that Cathay has in terms of other infantry. And of course, with those shields, they're going to be able to withstand much of the ranged units as well. For the rest of the army, we are going to be seeing some armored Corsairs going to be sitting on the flanks with their own missile capacity, as well as just their melee prowess as well. And that 80 armor silver shield as well. Very nice to have. We have some Corsar shields with and some regular Corsairs just kind of in the back. So we got some spears, just some regular variants, some more armored in the very rear. And then for mobility, we have a unit of winged lancers, 2 of those. And then we also have some warbear riders for some anti-large armor piercing to throw into the mix to help deal with some of the cavalry of Grand Cathay, as well as some of like the longbow riders or any terracotta sentinels. They'll be able to do some very good damage to them. Now, as for the units of Grand Cathay, you've already seen that Grand Cannon firing away into the cavalry of Kislev. But for the rest of the army, there is plenty of units on the field. There are going to be some peasant long spearmen up in the immediate front ranks. So that is going to be 4 units of those, actually 5 units of those in total. And backed up, they will have some Jade Warriors going to be coming in with that 90 armor that is going to be buffed up ever so slightly there over the regular number. And then we're going to be having some Jade Warriors with halberds kind of swinging out throughout the kind of rear line, going to be ready to move in and protecting all that nice juicy center ranks, as we also do have some Jade Warriors with crossbows going to be thrown into the middle. We have some Peasant Horsemen, and just kind of spread out, one of which is going to be some Jade Lancers as well on the 2 flanks. And then for the Lord, it is going to be a dragon-blooded Shogunate Lord of Ying, and he's going to be coming in with the Storm of Shadows spell, as well as Ancestral Warriors, getting some more of that halberd units onto the field. These guys do have terror when summoned in, so it can provide a nice little terror route. Otherwise, that is going to be it for both sides. So let's get things moving, as we're going to be pushing on forward with Kislev. Going to be using the buildings here for a little cover from those Grand Cannons, so they're going to be able to kind of sit tight right up against it. The cannon is going to be quickly changing attention, directly focusing on Tsarina Katerin herself, and she's going to be trying to move around, trying to dodge as many of those shots as possible, as those are going to be landing in. And she's going to be moving right in with the rest, trying to just kind of go back and forth there, avoiding that incoming fire as all of the rest of the units kind of push forward. Now, Cathay definitely has quite a few units more than Kislev, over 1,000 more bodies on the field, so they're going to have to do a little bit of upwards work here, as those Sargar definitely going to have to carry some pretty big heavy lifting, and the Jade Warriors are all going to start opening up onto these Sargar, doing some nice decent bit of damage is what they're going to be trying to just kind of punch in. Looks like they're actually going to be targeting Tsarina herself, getting some decent damage as she's kind of just slowly getting whittled down, but that's what that passive healing from those Patriarchs are going to be for. The Guard getting engaged with that front ranks. These Peasant Long Spearmen not going to have much hope against those very elite units from Kislev, as the rest of the units are going to be opening up, peppering into these Peasant Long Spearmen, trying to open up a gap into the center ranks, and they are quickly taking them down a peg or two. Jade Warriors are kind of responding. We get a charge in by the Wing Lancers into the side of those Long Spearmen. We do have the Jade Lancers going to be responding with a counter charge of their own, and they're going to be taking a nice big chunk of health off of those Winged Lancers, but the Bear Cav and these Winged Lancers going to be responding in kind as the first unit does pull out, and then they're going to get sandwiched in with a hammer and anvil, but Cathay is not going to be without its own bag of tricks, as the Ancestral Warriors does get summoned in. Going to be trying to just really work on these units, and they're going to be wanting to pull right on out as quickly as they can. Jade Lancers have been routed off the field, but the rest of the Kislev forces definitely want to be getting away from those Ancestral Warriors as quickly as they can. Armored Corsairs are going to be just going right into melee, trying to push in, break through as many units as they can. Center ranks already, the Jade Warriors have already been pushed back, and these Peasant Long Spearmen are not going to be long for this world, as they too are getting very close to routing themselves, as the Bear Squad kind of moves back to help support the Corsairs with spears, as they are going to be trying to whittle them down, kind of peel off these units. But Tsarina takes a massive shot from that Grand Cannon, and she's going to be trying to close that distance, but some shots are going to ring true, taking her down to half health and doing some nice bit of damage to the Patriarch as well. But they are going to turn their attention right to these Jade Lancers, turning and chasing them down, as these Cossars are all going to be coming in. We're going to be getting a Heart of Winter going to be casting, and these Jade Lancers are going to wisely pull right on out, but it is still going to catch these two units of Peasant Long Spearmen, hoping to free up these Cossars in the back and kind of just turn their attention back towards the center ranks, as all of the cavalry now kind of swooping in down from that other flank is going to be chasing these Jade Lancers right on off the field, as Tsarina gets a nice charge in, going to be peeling off a few models, and the shots raining in from the cannon might be doing a bit of friendly fire there, but it is going to be getting some good shots into the back of these warbears. And we do get that Saliak's Lullaby is going to be healing up these guys by 0.8 per second, as they are going to be getting a nice grab on multiple units there, so going to be getting some nice health on those. Back into the center ranks, the Armored Corsairs are holding back just the tide of Cathay forces, as they are just trying to just kind of break this one unit, but that Unbreakable does go off, and with how much health they are, they still have quite a bit of fight left in them, so they are going to be able to take quite a few units down with them before they ultimately end up routing when that does finally expire. Cannon, though, is still firing away. Shots are going to be blocked by those trees, but these Peasant Horsemen getting a nice charge into the Corsairs, but of course these are Corsairs with spears, so they're going to have a bit of teeth left in them themselves, as they're going to be pushing upwards into these Peasant Horsemen with their bonus versus large. Patriarch, though, is right there to respond and is going to be getting these Peasant Horsemen routing right off the field, taking quite a bit of damage, as well as these Armored Corsairs at point blank range getting some nice shots with the more Corsairs in the back getting that range support. The flank, though, is starting to kind of try and collapse onto the other flank, as the Warbears and the Winged Lancers going to be charging into the flank of these Jade Warriors, but we do have the Jade Warriors with halberds going to be kind of pushing up themselves, trying to push it back these Winged Lancers and these Warbear Riders, as they are going to be kind of pulling out and trying to use their mobility and cycle back around and try and shut down these cannons here in the back, as the center Bear Corps is going to be still running pretty strong. Tsarina has taken quite a bit of damage, and you can see that heal cap is finally on that health bar, so she has been able to get healed up, and she is getting healed up right now with that Salak's Lullaby. She also has that Tor Battle, him giving that plus 40 melee attack, and that is going to allow them to push through those Jade Warriors, as we get that Frostbite going down, hitting some nice units of those Jade Warriors, and that's going to just kind of disrupt them just long enough for that Star Guard to kind of get on top of them themselves. We do have Jade Warriors with halberds going to be kind of pushing in just to try and delay them and get these Jade Warriors back and give them some more breathing room to get some shots in, but the noose is slowly tightening on the Cathay range forces, as these Winged Lancers get a nice charge into the Peasant Long Spearmen, hoping to break them as quickly as they can. Cannons are starting to turn about and start facing the incoming threat of these Warbear Riders and these Winged Lancers, who are now just going to be steaming right on through those Peasant Long Spearmen, right into the flank of that Grand Cannon, and should be able to peel them off. We do have another Heart of Winter going down summon in the center rank is going to be slowing down the response time of these Cathay forces and going to be slowly dealing some damage as well as that time slowly goes on. You can just see that health slowly melting away as more and more units are starting to push their way up the hill to Cathay's center ranks, as the Bear Corps still going very, very strong. One Patriarchs is still at half health, and now they're going to be charging down, getting a nice hammer and anvil onto these Jade Warriors with crossbows, and they should be able to break them fairly quickly, but there's still plenty of halberds left on the field. These guys have been pushed back by the Sar Guard. The other ones are going to be kind of coming in to try and peel them off, but they're going to be having quite a bit of work kind of cutting through that high armor of the Sar Guard themselves, as these Sar Guard are going to be whittling down these Jade Warriors with halberds in the center ranks. Some units have started to kind of push through into the back, as we do have some Jade Warriors and some Peasant Long Spearmen are going to be getting on top of these Kossars, as Tsarina Katerin and the two Patriarchs are going to be eyeing their shot at kind of clearing those guys up. But if we kind of swing back to the rear, the mobility game has gone quite well for Kislev, as they are able to push in, remove that Grand Canyon completely now from the game. We do have those Ancestral Warriors are going to be summoned in the second summon of the day from the Dragon-Blooded Lord, as they are going to be kind of charging forth into these Armored Corsairs, and they are not going to be wanting to have much to do with them, as they are going to be getting an order to kind of pull on back. But we do have that Storm of Shadows going down on one of them, which is going to be reducing that speed, but it is going to be a little too late, as the Ancestral Guard do end up finally disintegrating from their timer, as now the Warbear is going to be charging down the hill and kind of cleaning up the shop on what is left on the flanks, and now the balance of power is kind of favoring Kislev quite a bit here in that late game, as the Patriarchs and Tsarina are going to continue to run amok in their own backline here, kind of clearing up some of the pesky Jade Warriors and Peasant Long Spearmen that were there to harass the Kossars, and they are going to now be roaming the field, kind of trying to get those rear charges, going to be trying to break these Jade Warriors, who are getting very low themselves. Another charge in there with that fear might be just enough to break them. The Warbear Riders do get very low themselves, as they are going to be hitting their unbreakable ability, going to be giving them a little bit more fighting chance, but that Dragon-Blooded Lord and all of the Jade Warriors with halberds are definitely doing a number onto them, doing some good damage, and the Wing Lancers, though, are going to be able to kind of pull out, but I think it is a little too late, as Kislev does win the day. So let's take a look at the after battle report, see how things did fare on both sides. So for the units of Kislev, Tsarina Katerin getting 1353, Warbear Riders getting 662. Both of the Patriarchs not really getting all too much damage, considering what they had with all of their Bear Cav, but they definitely provided a lot of utility to the field, that all of that healing going Tsarina's way. Both of them had that kind of, one had the passive heal, the others, both of them had that AoE heal, so they could just kind of interchange one after the other and just try and get as much healing as they can to all those units. The Sar Guard did quite well, 1,500 with 251 kills. Other one only 855 total value, but they still did get 229 kills themselves, so generating quite a bit of value between those two. Definitely the anchors of the Kislev formation. The Winged Lancers, on the other hand, doing some okay work. One actually did 1380, so lots of damage on that one, but both of them definitely providing some nice mobility presence in that fight. And then all of the Armored Corsairs doing okay, nothing too ridiculous. These Kossars getting 657, some nice value on that side. As for the units of Grand Cathay, the Dragon-Blooded Shugengen Lord did get only 278, was really there more for that utility, so with those summons and kind of just a little bit of control, but not a whole lot of damage coming in from her. Great Grand Cannon did rather well, 1509 on them. As for the mobility, Grand Cathay definitely suffered a bit in that department. Jade Lancers got compromised fairly early on, letting Kislev really kind of run free with their own mobility. Now they definitely brought quite a bit of units to help kind of deal with some large units from Kislev. Unfortunately, none of them really performed all too admirably. They really suffered pretty greatly in that regard. However, the Jade Warrior crossbowmen did very, very well. 1406 on these guys, 756, and then 985 for those three. So some nice, good value. And then the Peasant Long Spearmen, not too great. Neither did the Jade Warriors. They were just a little outmatched in terms of that infantry department with just the armor from the Sar Guard and the Armored Corsairs. Kislev just really kind of struggles to deal with that in their own infantry. They really do have to rely more on their ranged, so that's with their crossbowmen, and then the dragon crossbows as well. They do quite well in regards to that armor piercing. That is all I'm going to have for you today. A well-fought land battle. Hoping to have some more of those coming your way as soon as I do get my hands on them. But that is going to be it. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.